Hey everyone, we're here with one of our favorite guests, Graeme Timmins, lead post-launch director of content for Borderlands 3. Graeme, it's such a pleasure to have you back on the program to talk about some of the new content coming in DLC 6, the director's cut.
I am glad to be back to talk about it. Got lots to talk about today.
Oh yeah, oh boy. We have this problem on the Bordercast where we think it's going to be a very short show and it always goes long. And this interview, usually we're about 20 minutes. I feel like this is going to be a wild ride from start to back.
Yeah.
Before we begin, though, everybody at the Bordercast and all around the community just wanted to extend our deepest sympathies to everybody down at Gearbox for the severe weather situation that occurred last month. You know, we've seen how rough it's been for you personally, for Noel, and many other members of the Gearbox family. And we hope that you all get back on your feet and everybody's running at 100% as soon as possible.
Well, thanks for that. It was a trying week for a lot of people, like you said, myself and Noel and a handful of other people. But thankfully, everyone's safe. Everyone's good to go right now, and we're all just back working on all of our content. So we're anxious to just power through it.
Cool. We can't wait. On to the more positive discussions. DLC 6, the director's cut, is only a few weeks away. We learned recently, unfortunately, that there would be a minor delay in the release of the director's cut due to the aforementioned storms until April 8th. But in the meantime, you have been kind enough to grace us with your presence and talk about a lot of the information about what's to come today.
Thank you again. Seriously, Graeme, we really appreciate it. And huge thank you to everyone in Gearbox. I can't even imagine what you're all going through, and for you to work as hard as you do, despite all of that, to bring us this amazing DLC. We're just excited. So, vault cards. We're very, very curious to hear more about these. They are a new mechanic being introduced in Director's Cut. What can you tell us about this new system?
Okay, so vault cards all do stuff like you said that are in director's cut. Basically, it's a way of keeping the game fresh and giving people more cosmetics and more ways to customize their character. We know that people really love making their custom flak, making their custom modes, just between the skins and the echo skins, the weapon skins. So we wanted to give players more of that content in a fun and exciting way that had people, playing the game with some goals each day and each week to keep it fresh.
Cool. I'm just wondering, because there's so many different ways that you can take these challenges. Can you tell us a little bit more about them and maybe what they may entail? Like what was a sample challenge, if you would could explain one? What would that look like, for example?
Okay, well, each day there are 3 daily challenges, and each week there's a weekly challenge. And they could range from kill 20 enemies with a particular vehicle, or like a weekly challenge might be kill so many enemies with TDR weapons. And we try to keep it fresh. And the goal here is that, it might be go kill a named enemy. Maybe there's a boss you haven't fought in a while, like Genevieve. Well, now you've got a challenge for that day to go kill Genevieve. So what you're doing when you're doing these challenges is as you complete them, you earn experience and iridium. And that experience helps you level up your vault card. And each time you level up your vault card, you earn a chest. And inside that chest are the cosmetics. There's some special gear in there that will be rotating out weekly. There's more details to talk about that later. Vault card keys so that you can pick the individual cosmetics you want to purchase, or those keys can also be used on vault card gear. And so as you're doing these challenges, you're getting experience that level up that card to get you the chest, and all the goodies are in the chest.
That's wow, that is a lot of information at one time. I'm glad we have some time to break all that down.
Yeah.
The rewards in the cards seem to share an overarching theme to them based on some production stills we've seen. What can you tell us about the first of the 3 themes players will try to obtain?
So the first vault card that everyone with Director's Cut will be getting is called The Fallen Heroes. And this was kind of our way of paying homage to a lot of characters who've come to pass here in the Borderlands as a way of kind of respecting what their contributions were to the lore and to our players have, obviously become very attached to them. So this was a way of giving players a way to embrace those characters that impact them and visualize it on their character in many different cosmetics.
I'm so
That's
happy
really cool.
to I'm hopeful. I don't know what'll be available in terms of rewards, but I'm hoping we'll see some things regarding Maya, maybe Roland. I know Mitsu's favorite character, Typhon. hopefully will make an appearance. We'll see.
Yep, they're all there. There's skins that call back to like Maya and to Rowan. There's heads that are all callbacks to different characters that pass. So I think even Scooter is part of this. So,
Nice.
so
Awesome.
basically, if they've come to an untimely end in the story of Borderlands, you can anticipate having some reference to them in these rewards for sure.
That's amazing. I love how the recent DLCs and just in general, Borderlands keeps characters alive and with us in some shape or form. And it's really nice to see that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Spirit. I want Maya's. Do you remember for Poker Night at the Inventory too? I want that hat, her poker visor.
Yeah, that
We
was
have
cool.
that as one of the rewards.
That
It's
was
actually really
great.
cool looking. So we've talked a little bit more, about what the rewards are from the vault cards in terms of cosmetic stuff. What else can players obtain from these? Is there something a little bit more tangible, perhaps, like something? Obviously you can have skins and stuff, but guns. Let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Are there guns and gear?
Yes, there's gear for every card. There'll be 4 pieces of gear. And so how we approach these is pretty different than some other ways that you've traditionally gotten gear through either drops or other chests. Here, you can get this gear by accumulating the vault card keys that you get from opening the chest. And as you get them, you can purchase one of the pieces of gear. Now, that first time you purchase one of the 4 pieces of gear, it's a set piece of gear. It's got specific roles. Everyone's going to get the same piece of gear at the start. But as everyone wants that God roll version of the weapon. What you can do is continue to accumulate keys and then repurchase copies of that weapon in hopes of getting the God roll. And we have it balanced right now that after you've gotten about halfway through the card in terms of cosmetic rewards, you're going to start seeing keys more and more frequently so that you can either get whatever cosmetics might not have come from the chest yet that you're really wanting to get, or you can start dumping more and more keys into different roles of the gear that is at the top of each card.
That's really cool. So there's a lot of replayability with that. Wow, I did not expect that. So okay, yeah. So you mentioned vault keys. They're basically just used to like re-roll gear over and over and over again, just endlessly, basically, as long as you have the card active.
As long as you, as you have the card active, you'll always be getting experience and getting those chests, and they're inside the chest. And we've, like I said, we got to balance so that there's some chance at the beginning of what cosmetics you're going to get, but ultimately you'll kind of be in charge of your reward schedule as you get about halfway through the chest. So I thought that was a good balance of creating, like some desire and interest and excitement of opening each chest and seeing which cosmetic you might get, but also letting players still have control over, I still haven't gotten the Maya head. I really want that. And as you get keys, you can go ahead and just purchase it and have it unlocked for your character immediately.
Nice. That'll satisfy the specific loot hunters among us.
Mm-hmm.
That's very
I think
cool.
so.
Yeah. How will the unique gear you may obtain be scaled? Like when people level?
It will be level to you at the current level. And you got to think these vault cards are available to anyone from level 1 to level 65. But because you can repurchase the gear, you can just continue to get it as you go through. Obviously, we have a very passionate end game community, and a lot of people will be, rebuying them and re-unlocking them at the end game. But, if you start a fresh character, those will always be there for you, and you could purchase that midway through the game and keep playing.
Really, really cool. So you'll be able to purchase multiple times, get different roles, higher levels, mayhem level roles, everything. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
That's excellent. So there's a lot of layers to this. You're doing these vault cards, right? And then through the cards, you're obtaining the cosmetic stuff. Then you also will obtain the vault card keys.
Mm-hmm.
You can then use to do certain things with them. So let's talk about that a little bit more. What are these keys used for specifically? How, other than re-rolling them, what can they do?
Well, there's an additional key that is very rare to show up in a chest, and it's called a diamond key.
Oh.
And so diamond keys, you're going to see once in a while, you'll get lucky and get one. And this diamond key can be used on the all new diamond chest inside the diamond armory underneath the bridge of Sanctuary 3. This is like the ultimate chest. You're basically walking into a life-size chest when you use a diamond key.
That's exciting. We'll definitely get to diamond keys in a minute, because now I know everybody in chat, their ears just perked up. There's a new key? What's that about?
A chest you get to walk into also?
Yes.
What's that about? We'll get there.
Yeah. So like there's the tease in the radio business, as they like to say. I was wondering a little bit more, just going back to it, what happens when you finish a card? Is there some fanfare music that plays, or like how does somebody know that they've completed their objectives?
Well, the card will always be active, and you'll be able to activate the different cards as cards 2 and 3 come out. There'll always be one active that you can select, and you'll always be earning experience in those chests for the active card. And the goal there is you'll always be getting keys. And once all the cosmetics are unlocked, it's really up to you to use those keys on the gear to try to get the goddess god roll piece of gear from that content.
Goddess god roll. I love that.
The godliest of god rolls. Does something appear? Is there like I think of when you're completing a card, usually I would imagine there's some sort of like way of obtaining that loot as it comes out. Basically,
when you're looking at the card, as you unlock each piece of gear, you're looking at that card and you're seeing the check marks as you complete them. Every time you would get a chest and you'll get a big flash like you've leveled up, it'll say vault card level up. And once you've completed all of, and you see your whole card has been, redeemed, we stop updating the HUD because we obviously know once everyone's gotten the cosmetics at that point, it's really just you're using those chest keys to just get gear, and players aren't going to be bombarded by that. And so we disable that. And it's really just, you get to see a nice card with a bunch of, 24 check marks across it. It feels really good. It's a good completionist goal.
Very cool. And so players can continue to repurchase the gear, right? Some may have concerns of receiving the same item over and over with the same rolls. Are there measures in place to protect against that?
I mean, we made this gear assuming that we wanted some depth there. So I believe people will be happy with the variety of parts and pieces and rolls that you can get. So I don't expect, anything can happen in Borderlands. You can technically get the same weapon exactly just like anywhere else, but it's really rare. And we have some other ways to help make sure that players are getting the rolls that they want that we'll talk about in the future.
Sure.
Very cool. There are a billion
I
guns, so
over a billion guns now, because it was a billion on release, and they've released more as time has gone on.
Point.
So many billions of literal actual billion of guns. I think of Bunker, for example, as an example of a boss that you fight and it has a chance to drop cosmetics, and that can be sometimes very disappointing. Mm-hmm. So to kind of piggyback off of what Tess was saying, once you've obtained all the cosmetics, is there still a chance that they're in the loot table? Will they still show up occasionally, or will it just be loot, guns, gear?
It should be just all gear at that point. Once you've gotten the cosmetics, you're not going to you'll never get a duplicate cosmetic, you'll never see that get unlocked twice, like it's once you've unlocked it and redeemed it, you've got it. You'll never see that show up in the chest. And it's balanced that way. So like I said, as you get further into the chest and more stuff has been previously redeemed, you're only getting keys more and more frequently. So you can really start to decide how you want to spend them and on what cosmetics or what gear you want to get stat rolls for. So like I said, I tried to make sure players felt like ultimately they were still in control in how they approached the system. And it wasn't just completely up to chance the whole time. Because I know that's not fun sometimes. Sometimes you want to, and that's why people wanted, we changed up how the gear was placed on bosses, because people wanted at least some control on like, I want this guy to have set piece of gear. So I know I can go there and reliably farm them. And that's kind of the same approach here. Is like there's some chance as you open that chest what cosmetic you get each time. But as you get halfway through the card, you're getting more keys than you are cosmetics. And so at that point, you can really start picking and choosing what's left and start taking control over your reward schedule.
That's excellent.
That's
cool. Absolutely excellent. I know the min-maxers are going to be very happy about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is such a really incredible end game system that people are going to get excited about. Important to note, keys will have a naming convention after the vault card they're unique to, right? So the first wave will be known as the Fallen Heroes key.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
And that we did it that way so that you couldn't like stockpile keys now for a future card. You know, we wanted to make sure that each card had its unique key and unique reward schedule, and no one could just like get everything immediately. We do want these to, have some pace and cadence to them, to really always make sure players always feel like they have something more to go after. Because, this game is all about acquiring stuff, and we always want to make sure people feel like they always have something more to go after. And so that's kind of how we've approached all of this content.
That's really good to know now.
Yeah.
That's because there are people out there that would stockpile it if we didn't know now going in, just because we would think, okay, well, the second series is going to come out. Well, now I've got 100 keys. Let's throw out a number there. I'm just going to use them for this purpose. Well, now we know it doesn't work that way. You have to go out and farm every single time, which is good. That's how it should be, honestly.
Yeah, it gives you something to look forward to, which is huge.
Yes.
Gives you something to chase. That is the whole point of a game like this, and it's great. Thank you for doing it that way. That's awesome. We also have diamond keys. We have golden keys currently, but now we're being introduced to diamond keys. Tell us more. How can players obtain these new and bound to be highly sought after keys in Borderlands 3?
Well, diamond keys are going to be super rare that you'll be able to have a chance to get in the vault card chest for the active vault card. It's a really low chance, but it's possible. I promise you. I know the math back there. And if you happen to open one of these in a chest, you can take this key and go back to Sanctuary and go underneath the bridge and walk into, it's called the Diamond Armory. And in the center of this room is the diamond chest. And when you go use it, what actually happens is 3 of the walls flip over with tons of gear, and it's your Matrix moment. You like guns, lots of guns. And it's all different types of gear there. And this is kind of like the ultimate chest in the game. So the way that we approached it is we wanted to make sure that every piece of gear has a chance to drop here. Most of the other chests, like if you wanted a piece of DLC gear, you'd have to go to the DLC and either open chests there or run the bosses there. This is the one place in the whole game where you'll be able to, if you own all the DLCs, all of the gear has a chance to spawn in this one chest, in this one large room. When all that gear shows up, though, you got 5 minutes. Yeah, you've got a short amount of time to inspect it all. And there's many pieces, like, I should know the number. It's so many pieces of gear. But so you're going to want to keep a good pace and time, because you only have so much time, and then it's going to just spit out whatever it chooses randomly from that. So look for the anointments that you want, look for the specific stat rolls on some of the gear. And then once you've selected 3 pieces of gear off the walls, the diamond chest itself in the center of the room will open. And inside that, we are going to be adding a new rotating item pool that week to week will change every Thursday. And inside that, we'll have a set of gear that you'll potentially get a roll from. And so, that's a good way of us making sure that the game continues to feel fresh week to week, and give players a little more, it'll be the good stuff, right? It's not going to be a bunch of Malik's Banes. I know people are not a fan of that.
No wood
blockers.
It could get buffed again.
No wood blockers.
It could get buffed again. But you'll know reliably you'll get a great weapon or a great piece of gear from that chest every time it opens.
So I wanna just jump on that real quick, because you said something that I had a whole bunch of notes prepared for everything. I did not know that coming into the interview. So this is very, very cool sounding. Can you give us a broad high level example of what that might look like? Because you said every week this is going to change, right? Is it going to follow a theme? Is it going to be 1 week that's going to be rifles, 1 week that's going to be Jacob snipers, something like that? Or what would that look like?
It could be whatever I want.
So you have a little bit more direct creative control over this.
Yeah, this is something I've been cooking up.
Really?
So
that's so awesome.
Obviously,
oh my God.
Okay.
I have control in choosing the gear, and obviously I have some other designers that I work with, and we, kind of come up with a schedule. But yeah, some weeks it might be, like you said, maybe it's all Jacobs, and maybe there's 3 pieces of gear that are Jacobs weapons of some kind, or maybe it's shotguns, or it could be all shields week. Who knows? It's really up to myself and understanding what content we have coming in the future, or I can use this as a way to respond to some of the feedback from the community in terms of like, oh, these people are having a really hard time with whatever. I could say, well, here's a way for me to help get them a specific piece of gear I think that could be helpful. So it's gonna be a really fun new weekly change to the game. And there's some other stuff that will use this pool that was also in the patch that we'll be talking about shortly, that everyone will have access to, regardless if you have DLC 6 or not.
Wow,
That's so cool.
That's really awesome.
So can these be targeted, for example? Because I have a friend. Some people in chat may know this particular fine gentleman. He's currently missing eyebrows, and he really, really loves the Tunguska. So if he just happened to get a few, but everybody else gets whatever you want that week, but he might just get Tunguskas, is that something you might be able to do?
We're not talking about damn it to hell at all.
I can't pinpoint it that much, but maybe everyone will get Tunguskas for a week. And you can
that'd be really cool, actually. Streamer themed week. Oh, that would be adorable.
Oh my gosh.
Actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities with this pool and how I want to use it with the diamond chest and some other stuff. So I think it'll be a really fun, discoverable moment for the community each week as they determine and find out what kind of content is in that pool.
That's so cool. Every single week, something different, and we'll have no idea what to expect. That's
right.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Is there an idea in your head, on average, of how many diamond keys a player could earn a week? Is there even a cap to that?
I mean, it is RNG gods, right? But realistically, it's going to be pretty rare. This is like the one chest in the game that you could potentially get a full loadout. You can get in there, you can get a grenade mod, you can get a couple different weapons, you can get a shield. So you could literally get this and get a whole new set of gear, which is really powerful, really exciting moment, particularly as you're leveling up, and playing the gear grind. But I have to be conscious of not destroying the leveling experience for players. So there's, some back and forth. It's going to be fairly rare. And in terms of like the cadence, I hope people see it couple times a month, maybe. We'll see. I'm still very much in the process of balancing all of this content and making sure the reward schedule is what I'm happy with and what I think will work well for the community. And like I said, keep making sure those carrots are always there, but also rewarding time investment. So we'll see where it lands. But I don't want this to be like, you only care about this chest, right? We have so much other great content in the game. I still want to, make sure players feel like this is a great, fun bonus moment that they're excited about, but it doesn't like override the way that they approach gear in the game. That's not the intent with this.
That's really cool. And the fact that it's a room that's basically a chest, and then there's a chest inside.
Yeah,
so cool.
And you'll notice that chest inside the room itself is actually modeled after the Ultimate edition of Borderlands 3 that came out that was in a chest. It's the same chest. So it's kind of a callback to what the Ultimate edition was that launched.
The launch chest?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so okay, because that wasn't actually a chest and oh, okay.
We have
that's
that.
Really, really cool.
That's so cool.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Seriously, that's genius. I'm so excited to get my hands on all of this and play it and see it. Thank you, seriously, for working on this content, for bringing it to us, for doing this interview, for literally all the things. So cool. Is there anything else you think players should know about diamond chests and vault cards in particular?
I would say like they're just parts of this DLC. I'm really excited for people also to see a lot of the behind the scenes content that we're adding. It's easy even for me as a gamer to get excited about all this gameplay oriented stuff, but me as a developer, I'm really excited to kind of give players a behind the scenes look at what it's like to build a game. I know for myself as a kid, I had no idea how games are made and kind of the process that it is. And if you aren't in development, it's not easy kind of understand how it all comes together or understand all the steps and all the evolutions of all these features and worlds and creatures and characters. And so I'm excited for people to see that content and see like, oh, that level started like this and it turned into that, or these enemies were doing these kind of bad things and bugs, and seeing that, but also getting to see some content that, you know, just like any other piece of art, timeline is one thing, art is another, and they come to a head, and some stuff gets left on the wayside, right? And so you'll get to see some levels that were removed for time that we couldn't finish. You'll get to see some behind the scenes that. There's also even cinematics, and there's a particular cinematic drawing set that was done talking and really speaking to Maya's untimely demise in the game and how some of the characters reacted to that. So you'll get to see a cinematic that was sketched up from that moment, and there's some others. So it's really a lot of other content that is in this DLC that I think is going to give people who are excited about Borderlands lore a lot to look forward to, and people who are just wanting to know what it's like to build a game. They'll kind of get some insight to see just how drastically one idea starts and how it finishes.
That's incredible.
So what you're telling me is the next step is we need to have Mr. Varnell back on the show, or on the show for the first time, because he was on the Borderlands show very recently.
Yes, he was.
Oh boy, that, because you're talking about stuff, and my first question to him would be: is any of that canonical? Does that count, or is it left out? You know,
I mean, it counts to us.
Yeah.
Right?
You are all word of God. Whatever you say is canonical is canonical. So like I would find it very fascinating to see if some of these things that were removed for time or whatever constraints they might be might still find their way back in and have impacts on the story going forward.
I mean, for us, they do. And, you know, and that's for a lot. I'm sure that's for like any developer. You always have these ideas of these moments and what they mean to the full experience of the game. But if something's taken out for time or whatever the reason may be, to you as a developer, they still exist in your head. They still exist as an idea. And, you know, some of these things, that's our interpretation. And obviously what is shipped is what the story is. But this is kind of like giving a way of having additional context to the story that's shipped. I consider it canon, but since it's not technically on the disc, I can't speak for the narrative team, but to all of us, there's some really important moments here that I think I can safely say are part of the story. And we just didn't have time to tell that story. And this is our opportunity to tell the rest of those stories.
So the lore junkies are going to be very satisfied.
I think so.
Cool.
I think so.
So incredible. Seriously. I feel like as a gamer, it really is difficult to understand. You think, you know, going into it, if you have no experience with game dev at all, that people can just flip a switch and do a thing or you know, yeah, put in a simple fix or a simple story tidbit or do this way or do that way. And it's so easy, and it's not at all. And it's been so incredibly eye-opening to Mitsu and myself and the like entire Borderlands stream team and content creation team to get to talk with you guys like this and learn about the process and how much goes into it and how complicated things can be. And the fact that you guys have been able to bring across everything that you have already and everything that's to come with this DLC and give us this behind the scenes look and everything that's been involved with Borderlands 3 in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of crazy storms, in the midst of everything. It's just an incredible gift and an incredible undertaking that you guys have done such a good job with, in my honest opinion. And you've overcome so many challenges and just thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to speak with us today and with the community about this DLC and for everything that you do, for everything that every single person at Gearbox and 2K does. You guys you're like superheroes to us. You really are.
Yeah.
We know what goes into it now. And I'm excited for everyone else to see that, to see the behind the scenes stuff and to see the stuff that wasn't finished. Like Maya is literally my favorite character ever. I'm not sure if anybody doesn't know that at this point. But in case you didn't know, I love her a lot. And so I'm so excited to see more canon story. Thank you for giving us that. And delays happen, but like I said, this has been an incredible, ridiculous year and a half. And the crazy just keeps coming, and you guys keep coming through and delivering content and delivering amazing fun stuff for all of us at home to do together, and a way for people to connect and to play with their friends and get together with their friends in the midst of all this. You're actually making people's lives better and working so hard, and we just appreciate it so much. We're very excited and confident that the finished product will be worth the wait. April 8th for DLC 6, diamond keys, vault cards. So excited, and a behind the scenes look. That's just amazing. Huge thank you.
Absolutely. It's like you said, it's been a incredible year of working from home at this point, but obviously all of us at Gearbox, we're passionate about Borderlands. We're passionate about our work. We're very adaptable, and we always want to continue to make the best content possible, and that's what drives us. And I think DLC 6 and all the DLCs over the course of the last year, we really have proven that we can overcome a lot to make some great stuff. And I'm so hopeful and excited for everyone to get it and react to this next DLC and all the content in the next patch. I think a lot of people are really happy come April 8th with all the stuff that we have coming out.
Can't
wait.
So
excited. We're going to throw it back to our live selves, and you guys in the community. Thank you so much again, Graeme. You're amazing.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Thank you, bud. Thank you for being with us.